What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Faraday Future. I want to give you an overview of what is happening today, go over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So at the time of doing this video, it is up 15.7%. It did have a nice spike first thing to around 41 cents, low of 35 cents, but a lot of volume. So 104.09 million shares have been traded so far. 107.5 is the average. Shareholder meeting is going to be kicking off in roughly about 15 minutes. So that volume is probably going to be at least probably another double that at least, dependent on the results of that, because I feel like a lot of institutions are waiting for the results of that to really kind of get in or out, but we'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, there's only one transaction occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. It was first thing for $203,000. So generally good stuff. So majority of the volume is linked to shorting. So they're relatively active today, as well as algorithmic trading. And algorithmic trading is piggybacking off of this news right here. So Faraday Future regains compliance with Nasdaq timely reporting requirements. Kind of misleading of a title, kind of accurate somewhat. So I'm going to go over that. But that title, or I guess this article, is more correlated with this right here that came out after hours yesterday, and that is their 10Q. So you can kind of see just based on this title, it is, like I said, misleading because some people might take that for full compliance. Even on Reddit, you see some people just saying that and kind of insinuating that it's full compliance. Whereas if you look on Nasdaq's website, it's just one of three that is kind of being rectified. So this 10K right here was already fixed. Just Nasdaq is relatively slow at removing kind of deficiencies from this list. They're very fast at adding them, but this 10K technically is done. This 10Q now is rectified by them kind of submitting it right down to the wire. And then this bid price, so that shareholder meeting that's going to be commencing, potentially approving the reverse stock split, that will rectify this bid price rule. Like I've indicated very transparently, like time and time again, it does need to trade above $1 between 10 to 20 consecutive trading days. Nobody is privy to what ratio or kind of what number they're going to determine. That is set by the Nasdaq depending on Faraday's risk level. Some people were saying that that number is determined by the movement of the price. Definitely not true whatsoever. It is risk tolerance. And so yeah, in reality, given Faraday's history of being late on earnings and just the fact that they've done two reverse stock splits in general, it is fair to assume that they'd be more so at the 15 plus, the 15 to 20. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, nobody's privy to that, not even Faraday itself. But getting right to the numbers from their earnings. So you can kind of see as of March 31st, 2024, they had $400,000 in cash and cash equivalents. So very low stuff. And you do see restricted cash, so that's around 800,000. You can kind of see that they did burn quite a lot from operations. So right here, so loss from operations was roughly around 43 million. And so if you kind of compare that to the past, this is why I've said during that time period, or just right after March, I think it was April, that's when it started to get a lot of popularity. Like Faraday for the most part did give up, and was very transparent. I said that, and you can tell that just based on this right here. So looking at the cash from operations for the quarter ending December 2023, they burnt through 37 million. Prior 79, 57. And then this most recent earnings that they submitted is 14. It goes to show that they were for the most part dormant. They were not doing anything whatsoever. And they did say during their last earnings call, so that annual earnings, they did say that they issued some notes in 2024. And so if you kind of look at this, you would see that the cash would be significantly higher. So that does mean that they submitted the notes after March 31st, 2024. And that's one thing that I have been not necessarily the most bullish on, is because those notes, even outside of Faraday, anything with convertible notes is just a recipe for disaster. There's a whole lot of shorts just targeting any company that does those toxic lending solutions, because yeah, it's very, very damaging. And one thing that my pet peeve with Faraday is they announced in October to kind of rectify and keep shareholder value, they're not going to be pursuing the same toxic lenders as what they have. But again, they clearly did go to the notes and went back to them. So it's one of those unfortunate scenarios. So this is very telling. Like I said, I think in reality, Faraday's stock price is up because of this title, not because of these earnings. And keep in mind, typically a very speculative stock such as Faraday, one big thing that would be moving the stock price is the outstanding share count. But based on their last 10K, they already did say as of May 17th, 2024, X amount was the outstanding share count. So we already do have the most up-to-date number. So that clearly isn't really moving the stock price whatsoever. Just, I'm breaking this down because I feel like a lot of people might not actually understand this. So they do have very limited cash, kind of shows that they were dormant, but again, I think that was all kind of common knowledge. But the fact that they did have only this amount right here in cash, it shows that they are kind of issuing those notes during the most recent earnings or most recent quarter. So that is Q2. So something to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, there is about 73 pages in this. One thing that I was really just looking for is how much cash that they did have, how much they're burning through, because yeah, there's a lot of different ways how to view this as. Some people might say that they were kind of cutting costs, control measure and whatever else. But yeah, numbers don't lie. So yeah, I'll kind of go through this a little bit further, but when it comes down to their shareholder meeting, that is going to be probably one of those big things that does propel it higher. In my opinion, if it is passed, both the outstanding shares, or sorry, authorized shares, and also the reverse stock split, I can see this possibly going up as a byproduct, because in essence, that does show Faraday is going to kind of stay alive. So I've kind of already done a lot of videos all about that, on why that is absolutely key. And then on a secondary level, why the UAE deal might be the second thing that Faraday does need. But if you kind of think about it, I think this might be a bold statement to say, but Faraday might not need the UAE. Because if you think about it right now, Faraday's market cap is roughly 139 million. So logically, a lot of people are assuming that the UAE deal, someone's going to come in and inject roughly about 2 billion plus. That doesn't make sense. Like, it would be a lot more advantageous for the UAE entity just to buy out Faraday. Like, it doesn't make sense for that to occur, right? So it makes a little bit more sense if you think about it. If Faraday doesn't even pursue the UAE deal, let's say it doesn't go through for whatever reason, the only thing that Faraday does need to do that is going to really help them is stop issuing those damn convertible notes. I honestly don't care if you just do a direct offering of common stock. So just issue the damn common stock. Don't do these convertible notes, because that is essentially seen like a payday loan. It gives you money immediately, but you get fucked afterwards. And this is what Faraday is getting, kind of the byproduct of that. They're getting fucked. And this is why, pardon my French on a side note, but this is why it did go up tenfold, their outstanding share count last earnings, because all these notes that are being issued, the conversion is very damaging on the share price and to shareholder equity. So I think in reality, Faraday doesn't need the UAE deal. They just need to stop issuing convertible products, whether it be preferred shares or notes. And so I think by doing that, they've already gained a lot of popularity over this last little bit. They can just do a direct offering of just common stock, get money that way, and then that way they can start kicking off their day-to-day operations. So once again, that's just my viewpoint on why they don't really need the UAE deal. It'd be beneficial, but you kind of have to think about logic. So let me know your thoughts on that. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And what is your thoughts on their 10Q that they did submit? Are you optimistic about it? Was there anything that stood out to you? I kind of just looked at the key numbers, didn't look at the footnotes yet. But like I said, that's what I will be doing momentarily. And I'll do that, do a video on this tomorrow, and just about what I did kind of see as good, bad, and the ugly from all of this kind of stuff right here. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, appreciate all of you watching.